If you've ever thought that looks are everything, Anna's story will make you reconsider. In a dazzling city like Los Angeles, surrounded by models with 24-inch waists and flawless skin, there's a chubby girl with wild curly hair each morning, striding confidently as if she's on a catwalk. Her name is Anna, and she's unlike anyone you've ever known. At 25, Anna is a software engineer at a mid-tier tech company in Los Angeles. Every morning, she brings her homemade lunch to the office, playfully teasing her colleagues about code as messy as her hair after a late night. With her big round eyes twinkling with mischief and a smile that could dissolve the stress of looming deadlines, Anna lights up any room. Despite her curvy figure, she's never hesitated to wear bold-colored dresses or even crop tops on swelteringly unbearable days. For her, body positivity isn't just a trend, it's a way of life. She loves herself, every roll, every stretch mark, every so-called flaw that others might call not up to standard. And most importantly, she has a boyfriend named David, a handsome, charming man, the only son of a famous real estate tycoon in California. They met by chance at a tech meetup 2 years ago. While everyone's eyes were glued to the slender, waif-like girls, David was utterly captivated by Anna's humor and confidence. Their romance blossomed over coffee dates at a quaint cafe on Sunset Boulevard, late nights gaming together, and deep conversations about AI, blockchain, or the future of the universe. Anna believed they were truly connected, not just emotionally, but intellectually. To their friends, they were an odd but adorable couple. People often said Anna was lucky, but she thought otherwise. David's the lucky one to have me. And deep down, she truly believed it. But what Anna didn't know, or perhaps didn't want to believe, was that David always held unspoken standards for a woman worthy of standing by his side. Standards he never voiced, until one day, a day that changed everything. There are moments in life when your heart stops, when time itself seems to stand still. And in that moment, you believe everything is perfect. For Anna, that moment came when David knelt before her in a luxurious restaurant, the soft golden lights casting a glow on his hopeful face. Every eye in the room turned to them. A dream was unfolding right before her eyes. It was a Friday evening after work when David invited Anna to an upscale French restaurant in downtown Los Angeles. She had no suspicions. David often surprised her with romantic gestures. Stepping inside, Anna was mesmerized by the warm ambiance. Flickering candlelight, the gentle melody of a piano, and the faint scent of lavender lingering in the air. David, in a sleek black suit with his hair neatly combed, radiated a glowing smile, though his eyes held a hint of nervousness. Anna, in a simple light blue dress, her cheeks flushed with surprise, had no idea this night would change her life. After dessert, as the music softened and the lights dimmed ever so slightly, David stood, taking Anna's hand. A voice echoed through the musician's microphone. "Please, let's give our attention to a truly special moment." David stepped into the center aisle, knelt down, and held up a ring box that sparkled like a star. The entire restaurant fell silent, all eyes on them. "Anna," David called out, his voice trembling but clear, "we've been together for 2 years, and every single day with you has been the greatest of my life. You're my light, my laughter, my entire universe. Will you marry me?" Applause erupted, gasps of awe echoing from the diners around them. Anna, overwhelmed with joy, covered her mouth as tears streamed down her cheeks. She nodded frantically, as if afraid the moment might vanish if she stopped. "Yes," she choked out, her voice breaking. "I will." David stood, slid the ring onto her finger, and pulled her into a warm embrace as the applause grew louder. Photos were snapped, cheers filled the air, and the staff brought over a bottle of champagne to celebrate the couple. Anna felt like the heroine of a romance movie, where everything was perfect and love conquered all. In her eyes at that moment, David was the ideal man, and she, though not society's perfect woman, had been loved, chosen, and promised a happy future. But little did she know, right after the dazzling lights and thunderous applause, a cold, harsh statement was about to shatter it all. After the applause and radiant smiles came a silence that stabbed at the heart with pain. Not every proposal marks the start of a fairy tale. For Anna, that fairy tale moment had just flickered to life, only to be extinguished by the very man she loved. After dinner, as the excitement seemed to fade, David and Anna left the restaurant hand in hand. They stepped outside, the gentle night breeze of Los Angeles brushing past, carrying the scent of jasmine from a nearby street corner. Anna was still reeling from the moment. She glanced at the sparkling ring on her finger and smiled softly. "I can't believe you proposed in front of everyone like that. Thank you." David squeezed her hand gently, then paused by the car, tilting his head to look at her. But the warmth in his eyes from earlier was gone. In its place was a serious, almost cold gaze. "Anna, I need to talk to you about something," he said, his voice flat. Anna looked up, waiting. "Before we get married, you need to lose weight." She blinked, certain she'd misheard. "What?" David sighed, his eyes now avoiding hers. "I mean, you should fast, cut carbs, drink detox stuff, you know? My wife can't be overweight like this. People will look at us, media, family, business partners. They'll judge." Anna stood frozen. Each word felt like a cold, steady drip on stone, chilling and cruel. The joy from the proposal hadn't even settled, and now it was doused with an icy wave that left her numb. You proposed to me, and then tell me to starve myself?" Her voice was hoarse, barely a whisper. "I just want what's best for you. Your health, your appearance, everything. I love you, but we have to think about the future. You can do it, right? Because you love me?" David forced a smile, as if his request was perfectly reasonable. Anna lowered her head. She could hear her heart pounding, not with happiness, but with hurt. She felt so small, so insignificant. Just a minute ago, she was the woman the whole restaurant had cheered for. Now she was nothing more than a project to be fixed. The air around them turned awkward. A few passers-by glanced at them briefly before walking on. It was as if the entire city had fallen silent. No one to defend her, no one to speak up. Anna bit her lip, fighting back tears. She nodded faintly. "Okay, I'll try." She didn't know if she'd agreed out of love or out of fear of losing him. All she knew was that, in that moment, for the first time, she felt like she was no longer herself. Changing for someone you love, it sounds romantic until it turns into a list of demands. For Anna, it was the first time in her life she felt like a product being reviewed and upgraded to fit someone else's vision. And that someone was the very person she thought would protect her forever. A week after the proposal, Anna started a strict diet. No carbs, no sugar, no animal protein. Each morning she drank a glass of lemon water with pink salt. Each meal was just salad and chia seeds. She forced a smile as her stomach growled, telling herself, "For love, for our future." David would text to check on her. "What did you eat today?" Or, "Don't skip the gym, okay?" He no longer invited her for pizza or late-night movies like before. Instead, he offered advice like, "Go to bed early to avoid fat buildup." But then, one Saturday evening, as Anna sat exhausted on her sofa, barefaced and drained, David came over with a gift bag. She opened it, and inside was a long, glossy brown wig, a brochure for a natural nose job, and a discount voucher for breast enhancement surgery. Anna was stunned. She looked up at David, her eyes unable to hide her disappointment. "What is this?" David sat across from her, his gaze calculating. "I thought you should consider it. Long hair would make you more feminine, a higher nose would slim your face, and, well, your chest, you know, most modern women do it." Anna said nothing. She stared at the items before her, as if they were props in a tragic comedy. Each piece felt like a knife slicing into the self-worth she'd always held dear. David continued, his tone light, as if discussing a room repaint. "We'll be taking wedding photos soon. I want you to look perfect. You deserve that, Anna." "Perfect?" Anna let out a laugh, but there was no joy in it. She wondered, since when did I become his project to fix? With every word David spoke, the deeper she felt insulted. He didn't just want her thinner. He wanted her different, from her hair to her body, from Anna to someone she wouldn't even recognize. She stayed silent. No protests, no arguments, but a faint whisper echoed in her mind. Does he love me, or the perfect doll he's imagined in his head? And in that moment, for the first time in their 2 years together, Anna felt utterly alone, even with David sitting right across from her. Some nights it's not hunger that keeps you awake, but a crack forming deep in your heart. For Anna, tonight held no music, no words of love, only the harsh light of her bathroom and the eyes staring back at her in the mirror. A girl she was beginning to no longer recognize. The clock read 2 a.m. Anna's small apartment was silent, save for the faint whistle of the wind outside her window. She slipped out of bed, walked straight to the bathroom, and flicked on the light. The stark white glow illuminated her pale, exhausted face, dark circles under her eyes, cheeks noticeably hollow after just weeks of dieting. Anna stared at her reflection. No makeup, no mask to hide behind, just the raw truth. She lifted a hand to touch the mirror, where her once plump cheeks had sunken in. She tried to smile, a forced, lifeless smile. "Is this me?" she whispered to herself. Days had passed and she'd tried so hard. No snacks, grueling workouts, endless articles on how to change your appearance fast, researching cosmetic surgeries, considering hair extensions. But all it brought was exhaustion and emptiness. She thought back to the early days with David, laughing together in her tiny kitchen over burnt food, sharing embarrassing high school stories while he held her close. But now, instead of holding her, he only looked at her with judgment. "Your chin's still too big," or "Your stomach needs to be tighter." The more she tried to change to please David, the further Anna felt from herself. She began to dread mirrors, fear eating an extra bite of bread, worry she'd never meet his standards. And that's when a painful truth hit her. David didn't love her. He loved an ideal version of her he'd created in his mind. If she kept changing to fit the mold David had crafted, what would be left of her? A slim body, a sculpted face, but a soul drained dry? Anna sat by the bathtub, tears falling silently. She wasn't crying from sadness. She was crying because, at last, she saw everything clearly. "He doesn't love the real me," she whispered into the empty space. "And if I don't love myself, how can I ever love someone else?" That night, Anna didn't go back to sleep. But as dawn began to break, she made a decision in her heart. Painful, but necessary. Not everyone who leaves you is a bad person. Sometimes they're just the wrong one, on a journey where you're learning to love yourself. Anna understood that on that quiet afternoon in a serene park, when she decided to stop before she completely lost herself. Westlake Park was unusually peaceful that afternoon. The air was cool, the sunlight gentle, and leaves fell softly onto the grass, as if everything was trying to soothe a heart about to break. Anna sat on a long wooden bench, dressed in a loose beige sweater, her eyes gazing into the distance. In her hand was the engagement ring David had given her, now cold, heavy, like the 2 years they'd spent together. David arrived, still dashing in a crisp white dress shirt, the familiar scent of his woody cologne wafting faintly. He sat beside her, offering a small smile. "Sorry, I've been busy lately. Why did you ask me to come?" Anna looked at him, her eyes no longer wide with shock or trembling like before. She took a deep breath, her voice steady. "David, I think we should end this." The words rang like a bell in the quiet space. David froze, his face paling. "What are you saying? Are you joking?" Anna shook her head. She opened her palm, the ring resting there. "You made me feel loved once, but bit by bit, I stopped being myself. You don't love the real me, David. You love a version of me you've imagined. Thinner, taller, with long hair, a small nose, a bigger chest. I can't live like that forever." David tried to stay calm, but his voice wavered. "I just wanted you to be better. Who doesn't want their wife to be beautiful? Are you throwing everything away over some fleeting emotion?" Anna turned away, tears falling, but her face resolute. "No, I'm choosing myself again. I don't want to live to please anyone anymore." Not even you. If I have to change everything just to be loved, that's not love. David grabbed her hand, his eyes pleading. Anna, I'm sorry. I didn't know how to show it. Don't leave me. Anna pulled her hand back, gently but firmly. I didn't know how to love myself either, but now I do. And to do that, I need to let you go. She stood, leaving David sitting alone. The wind rustled through the trees, leaves falling around them. There was no dramatic ending, no harsh words, just a woman walking away, not to escape, but to begin anew. Anna didn't look back. This time she wasn't running away. She was starting over. Some first steps don't happen in a gym, but in your heart. Not in running, but in letting go. Not to become more beautiful, but to return to yourself. For Anna, that journey didn't start with upbeat music, but with a whisper to herself, I'm doing this for me. A week after breaking up with David, Anna began waking up early each day, not to force herself to lose weight, but to breathe. She tied her hair back, slipped on sneakers, and jogged around Silver Lake, a place she'd once avoided for fear of judgmental stares. At first, she was gasping after just a few minutes. Her knees ached, her heart raced, but each drop of sweat felt like shedding someone else's expectations. No one's making me do this, she told herself. No one's judging me. And if they are, so what? Anna slowly reconnected with her body, not to fight it, but to listen to it. She learned to eat healthily, but still enjoyed her favorite foods on weekends. She tried yoga to feel her body, not to get skinny. And for the first time in months, she smiled without feeling guilty. She deleted all the calorie tracking apps and cookie-cutter beauty advice. Instead, she turned to inspiring podcasts, books on positive psychology, and stories from women who'd walked a similar path. She wasn't just changing physically. Bit by bit, her mindset expanded. My worth isn't in my dress size. I'm not a product for someone to pick or discard. And then, news hit like an unexpected punch. Just a month after their breakup, David got married to a girl with long hair, a model-like figure straight out of Instagram. The news came through a mutual friend's Instagram post. Stunning wedding photos, a white gown, a beach backdrop, captioned, right person, right time. Anna was stunned. She sat in silence for a moment, not crying, not jealous. Just a small sting of bitterness crept in. I was the one he proposed to less than 2 months ago. So where was she back then? It all became clear. David hadn't just controlled her. He'd betrayed her. He might have loved 2 women at once, or at the very least, had a replacement ready when Anna no longer fit. But instead of breaking down, Anna let out a faint smile. The smile of someone who just escaped a sweet trap called conditional love. She stood up and kept going, because now she didn't need to prove anything to anyone. She only needed to prove one thing. She was enough, just as she was. They say a woman is most beautiful when she belongs to no one, but more accurately, when she chooses to belong to herself. After overcoming her pain, Anna didn't just stand up. She stood up with her laptop, her books, and a new resolve. If the world judges me by my looks, I'll make it bow to my intellect. Anna returned to her passion for technology. But this time, it wasn't just about working 8 hours and then binging Netflix. She started waking up at 5 a.m., diving into online courses she'd always put off. From Python to SQL, data science to product design, each line of code became a declaration. I'm building my future with my own hands. By day, she worked at the company as usual. But when colleagues invited her for drinks after hours, Anna went home, turned on her laptop, and kept learning. No one forced her to do this. It wasn't to prove anything to David or to anyone else. She simply wanted to do something for herself, for the first time, without conditions, without the pressure of appearances. She enrolled in a data analytics bootcamp, learning to analyze data, create dashboards, and present insights as clear as California sunshine. At first, it was exhausting, but with every quiz passed, every project completed, Anna felt lighter, her mind brighter. 3 months later, she was promoted to back-end team leader, thanks to her adaptability, diligence, and relentless drive. Colleagues began asking where she studied, what tools she used, how she managed her time so well. She shared openly, never holding back, because she knew women needed to support each other, not compete. For the first time in her life, Anna was called a mentor by the new interns. She guided young women not just in tech skills, but in holding on to their self-respect in an industry still rife with biases. During this time, Anna also started appearing on tech forums, sharing her story. She spoke of her journey, from a girl told to change her appearance to a woman taking control of her own life through intellect and self-worth. She no longer cared about David's wedding photos with his perfect wife. Though occasionally friends would mention, "She's pretty but so clueless, she can't even talk without asking David," Anna just smiled. No bitterness, no gloating, just relief because she knew she no longer belonged to that world. Now looking back, Anna didn't see a woman who'd been abandoned, but one who'd walked out of the mire and was heading toward the light on a path of her own making. Not all love begins with fleeting glances. Some connections grow quietly through shared feedback, late-night projects, and moments when one person silently watches another shine. Like the way Michael had been watching Anna from behind the glass door of the CEO's office. Michael, the CEO of Anna's company, was a 37-year-old tech billionaire, once featured on Forbes for building a software empire from scratch. He rarely appeared at the office, but when he did, the whole company buzzed as if a celebrity had walked in. Yet what few knew was that during his quiet observations from afar, Michael had taken a special interest in one woman, Anna, the once chubby, reserved engineer who had now become the spiritual leader of the back-end team. He'd seen her stay late to fix production bugs, heard her present on data pipelines with a clarity that left the boardroom in awe. He'd also read her blog, where she shared her story with depth. No whining, no self-pity, just raw resilience and inspiration. One day after a presentation on system optimization, Michael called Anna into his office. "I've been watching you for a while," he said, his tone serious but warm. "The way you work, the way you face everything, it truly inspires me." Anna felt a bit flustered. It wasn't the first time she'd been praised, but it was the first time the praise came from the CEO, and from a man as captivating and intelligent as Michael. In the days that followed, Michael started engaging her more, asking her to lunch to discuss products, and soon, their conversations stretched beyond work. They talked about life philosophies, their journeys of growth, the failures that nearly broke them. Michael never asked about her weight or commented on her hairstyle. He only cared about, "Are you tired today?" or "Are you living the life you truly want?" One late Saturday evening, after a tech conference, as they strolled together under the city lights, Michael stopped, looked at Anna, and said, "Anna, I admire you. I don't just see a talented professional, but a woman who dares to live authentically, who stands up, who inspires others. Would you want to build a future with me? Not just in work, but in life?" Anna stood still. Her heart raced, but this time, it wasn't from fear of judgment. For the first time in a long while, she felt truly seen. Not her body, not her transformation, but her, whole and real. Some people love you for your looks. Some love you because you're convenient. But only those who truly love you will choose you, whether you're standing in the spotlight or in your own shadows. Michael was that person, and that's why Anna said yes. After nearly a year of getting to know each other, working side by side in both business and life, Michael proposed to Anna, not in front of a crowd, not with flashing cameras, but on a quiet golden afternoon on their porch, with a simple ring and words from the heart. Not because you've changed, but because you've never stopped being yourself. Will you be my wife? Anna nodded, tears welling in her eyes. There were no judgmental looks, no checklist to complete before the wedding. Just two equals, building a life they both believed in. Their wedding was simple yet elegant. From that day, Anna became a co-founder alongside Michael as they expanded their new educational tech platform, offering free tech knowledge to women in underserved communities. One day during an online mentoring session, Anna met Mira, a 22-year-old plus-size girl who'd just been dumped by her boyfriend because he was embarrassed to be seen with her. Mira, broken, messaged Anna in despair. "Sis, I don't want to live anymore. I feel like a burden to everyone." Anna set up a video call, and for an hour she shared her own story, every tear, every invisible stab she'd endured. She held nothing back, but then her voice grew strong. "You don't need to change for anyone to love you. You need to change because you want to live fully for yourself. I believe in you. If I could stand here after thinking I couldn't go on, you can too." A year later, Mira, the girl who once felt hopeless, became a full-fledged software engineer, joining Anna's company. On her first day, Mira hugged Anna tightly, tears in her eyes. "Without you, I might have given up." Anna just smiled, her eyes shining with faith. "I didn't save you, Mira. You chose to stand up." That same week, an old name, thought long forgotten, reappeared in Anna's life. David. He left a short message under her latest interview. "Can we meet?" Anna read it, but instead of replying, she quietly stepped onto her balcony where the afternoon sun bathed her garden in gold. She knew that day would come sooner or later. Some regrets can't be erased with an apology. Some people you let go become the ones you can only look up to later. And as David stood before Anna's mansion, amidst a scene of luxury and warmth that felt strangely serene, he realized he'd lost someone he'd never find again in this lifetime. David was no longer the man of lavish parties and luxury yachts. After reckless investments, his family's real estate empire went bankrupt. His family fell apart. His father left, his mother sold their house to pay debts, and he now lived in a small rented apartment on the outskirts. The wife he'd hastily married after Anna, the perfect woman he'd once been obsessed with, left him after just 6 months. She was beautiful, yes, but her mind was empty, her conversations dull, unable to connect on anything beyond selfies and filters. She needed to maintain her image, needed money, needed fame, but didn't need the real him. David slowly realized what he'd traded wasn't just a relationship, but an entire future, with a woman who could have been everything. He followed Anna like a thief peering into a house he once owned, but now it no longer belonged to him. And then that day, he came to see her. The gates of the mansion opened, not with guards or coldness, but with a peaceful air, separating him from a world he no longer belonged to. Anna stepped out. She wore a simple white dress, no elaborate makeup. But her presence, her strength, her calm, left David speechless. In the distance, Michael was playing with a 3-year-old girl, her chubby cheeks and bright eyes a mirror of Anna's younger self. David stood frozen, his heart aching as if squeezed tight. "Anna," he called, his voice trembling. She stopped, her face showing neither a smile nor anger, just the gaze of someone who'd come so far. "Why are you here?" she asked gently. "I was wrong. It was all my fault. Can you forgive me? Give me a chance?" David's voice broke, his eyes red with tears. Anna stayed silent for a moment. She looked at him, not with resentment, but with a quiet pity. Not for him, but for the version of herself who once tried to hold on to a love without conditions to grow. "I can forgive you," she said slowly, "but I can't go back." David fell to his knees on the clean stone path leading to the mansion, where every step Anna took now bore the mark of a successful, strong, loving woman who needed no one's validation. "I lost you," he whispered, his voice shattered. Anna turned away. She walked back into her home, where her husband waited, her daughter laughed, and the afternoon sun bathed every window like a blessing. She didn't need revenge, because the greatest light doesn't come from defeating darkness. It comes from choosing to live so brightly that those who left you can only sit in regret.